Over, but welcome today to today's TAN meeting. We have with us today Miriam Ortiz y Pino. She's going to talk with us about the 5 essential business systems that will keep you on track. Miriam is one of my very, very good friends, a simplicity expert and money breakthrough business coach, and certified professional organizer, entrepreneur, writer, blogger, and creator of the Streamlined Solution. She works with entrepreneurs and other busy and creative people to craft environments where they can connect the control they crave and the freedom they desire while building wealth through organization. I'm not going to go through all your certificates,
That's fine.
Miriam.
There's a bunch.
Yeah, but you are a Golden Circle member of the National Association of Productivity and Organizing, an ambassador for that group, and an instructor in their continuing education programs. So Miriam, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So nice to meet everybody today. Let me just start my slides real quick and then, I guess I have to do it the other way around. Sorry, technical difficulties always. I have to share the screen first.
Correct.
And then it will let me pick the right one. Okay. And then I get to do, all right, now of course it's going to be covering up my thing. Okay, there we go. So it's always so exciting to hear Kelly say my intro because she knows me well. And so she knows how to finesse it just right. Whereas other people just read it as blah, blah, blah. So thanks, Kelly. I was starting to say, and then I realized I should wait for everyone to get here. I got more and more excited about presenting this to this particular group as the week went on, because this is the flexible framework I came up with to help my business clients feel like things weren't falling through the cracks for them. And at first I thought, well, this is really basic. I'm only going to need it for my startup clients. And then it works with all of my clients, because so often we get into our businesses and one piece feels very, very familiar and comfortable for us, and we spend a lot of time in it, and the other systems get a nod here and there, or, oh my gosh, taxes are due, I better deal with my money stuff. I'm sure none of you are quite that scattered, but it provides a great framework both for figuring out what things you might need to put into a business if you're just starting or an entrepreneur, and it gives a way of helping keep you productive and focused week in, week out, making sure stuff doesn't fall through those cracks. So, and it was a competition. So this was a reaction to one of my colleagues who wrote a blog post once about the 18 things every successful business owner needs. And I'm like, 18, that seems like a lot to track. And so I read her article and then I whittled it down to 5 or the essential ones to keep people from being overwhelmed. But to even begin this, why are you in business in the first place? What is it that put you in business or the career you're in? Because the great thing about this is you can think about this in terms of your house as well. So it can be your department if you work for someone else. It can be your whole business if you work for yourself, and it can be just your home if you're not working anymore. But it's a way of seeing how things are interconnected. So why are you doing the thing you do? In this case, we're talking business. So why is it you're in business for yourself? What was that vision you had in the first place? Like, what did you desire to craft when you created your business? And these are the things that go into that, like that make that a reality as we go. It's been a while since I used slides. There's me. So the first one, the one that makes the world go round, as it were, is money, right? How do you deal with money in your business? There's money coming in, there's money going out. There may be some tracking of sales. It's how people transfer their desire to have what you offer. and you know to trigger that offering, right? It's the key component that makes it all possible. So even when you don't think of money as the be all end all of why you're in business, if you're one of those helpful folk that just like to help people, there's still a component to every business that's money. There's different kinds of tracking. There may be team involved. But if you think about it in just the simplest terms, there's money in, there's money out. What are your systems and processes going to be to make that happen? And how do you simplify that, make it as easy as possible, and repeatable? So it's very easy. I love to work with the framework of action stacks, which is where anything that is a repetitive action gets a checklist of the steps involved. Some people call them policies and procedures. That sounds boring to me, so I call them action stacks. This is the stuff I have to do about money. And when I work on money, I use that checklist to make sure I'm hitting all the key components. And it can be subdivided into what are daily money tasks, weekly money tasks, monthly, quarterly, and yearly money tasks. It can even be every 7 years when you rotate out your tax information and stuff like that. So it gives you that, it's not one recipe for you to follow. It is to think about how you would like to approach it. I happen to use profit first, which is a little bit different than straight up bookkeeping. I mean, there is bookkeeping involved, but it's a way of deciding which activities happen on which days, and a way of looking at paying yourself first and then paying the rest of your bills, so you know how much more money you have to make in the month to make what you want to happen a reality.
Miriam, I have a clarification.
Yeah.
You called it profit first. Is that a platform, an application, or something like that?
I was just about to go into that, but it is a book, a methodology by Mike McAllowicz. Do I have it right here? It's a very hard one to say, to spell. And it's great. I liked it so much that before I implemented it, I asked my accountant what she thought, and she was so impressed with it that she got certified in the modality. So I was really excited about that. So now
I found the link and I put it in the chat.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I don't always recommend the book, but then I thought this is a great group to talk to about that with. He's got several books that are all very simple and kind of contrary to typical business advice. So it's worth a peek because it gets you thinking, even if you don't agree with them. All right, so that's it about money. And I want to leave lots of room for questions and answers as well. So we're going to go a little bit quickly today. All right, next one, because you can't make money without the marketing, right? And this is more than just your brand, although brand is one of those pieces of marketing that many people misunderstand. So marketing, whether it's you as a personal brand or your company or your family mission statement, it's all about the pieces that go into that. So it connects back to that why you're doing it in the first place, that mission statement. What's the vibe and the feeling you want to convey to people as they work with you? And how do you keep track of all those assets and collateral about your business, right? The marketing pieces. What are the components that go into your marketing? Where's the logo? Where's the headshot? Where's the that mission statement? Where is your slide background template? Where are all those pieces, right? You're going to need to figure out how to organize that, but also your thinking. You know, at this point, I've been through about 30 different marketing trainings, and every one of them approaches it slightly different, but it's all the same several components. So last year during COVID, when I had a little more free time, I sat on my couch and I gathered all that stuff together. I mean, it was all in one folder, but I took all the pieces out of each one and combined them so I wouldn't have all the redundancies anymore either. So it's also a way of helping you weed out the stuff that's in your way now and think about how you would like to simplify it in the future, moving forward. It's also a great way to start thinking about who is it you want to work with. So the other piece of marketing is who's your niche? Who's the people you're going to work with? What's your ideal client? And thinking about how working for everyone or with everyone actually makes it so you work with no one, because no one's resonating with what you do. When you niche and you get really specific, like I tend to work with creative entrepreneurs that work from home. That means I work with artists, coaches, consultants, healers, athletes. There's a lot of different things that go into creative people that work from home. But you get to pick what that is and make it as narrow as you want. I know some people with really tiny niches that make millions of dollars. So just know that the money's actually in those niches, and you get to those niches by having your marketing message targeted exactly to what they want to hear and learn about, and it matches their problem. Let's see. It's also the way you get your stuff out into the world. So marketing is just tooting your own horn. It's the town crier of what you do so other people know about it. I know that many coaches and consultants have a hard time marketing themselves, even when they're marketing experts. And so just know that having a simple place where you can have your pieces of the puzzle. I have all my stories that I tell in talks or when I'm going to write a marketing piece. I have different snippets for different aspects of what I do to highlight. You can just grab it. You can mix and match copy that way. You can always know what your font is and your colors are to hire an assistant with. So all of those things, you just kind of put them in the same place in an organized manner, whichever that manner looks like to you. Right now, I love Trello and Dropbox, but it's up to you how you want to do it. If it's file folders and in the back of the closet, that's fine too. All right, let me just make sure I hit all the highlights for marketing. I apologize for being a little bit scattered today. I've had a migraine all morning. Oh, so in addition to the messaging, it helps you be consistent and makes your brand stand out more that way. But it also helps you put the 5 essential marketing components into a place. Often when I clean off clients' desks, there's little pieces of paper about different aspects of marketing or sales, and they aren't quite sure what to do with it because it doesn't quite fit in a category. I'm like, but it's marketing material. So that's the category. You start with that, and then you break it down from there. So we've got pricing, packaging, product, promotion, and people, right? That's what happens in marketing. You need all the P's. Okay. And that leads us to people, because you have to have people. Even if you're a solopreneur, you still need people to work with, right? You still need the clients. So start with who your people are. Who are you going to attract into your business? Who are you solving the problems for? And how are you going to process their information? How many business cards are floating around on your desk and in the drawer and in your purse and in the tote bag from the last convention and that last networking meeting in 2019 and all those things, right? The cards, they pile up and people say, what do I do with the cards? Or all the emails with the contact details that are cluttering up your inbox. If you start thinking of people as potential places to market, to make the money.
Miriam, you're frozen on mine.
Yeah, it looks like she's frozen.
Glad it's not just me.
Let me quick text her. She might have to come out and come back in. Looks like that's exactly what she's doing. While we wait for her, how is everyone today?
Good, how are you?
Piece of paper. Touch every piece of paper only once.
Miriam says that a lot, actually.
But it's very hard. It's very
Yeah.
hard to do. It
Right.
took me years to get it right.
Here she comes.
I like Allison's Eiffel Tower behind her.
Thanks. It's a dream. It's just a dream
Okay.
right now. Soon to be real.
Sorry about that. I've never had Zoom kick me out and then not let me right back in. It did some sort of reset in the middle.
Okay. We were talking
right.
about people.
We were talking about people. Let me get back to my screen share. Here we go. All right. People. What do you do with the people? Where do you put the people? Especially the potential clients, right? How do you track those potential leads and money that's on those cards that are sitting all over your desk and hanging around in the bottom of your bag? So I recommend some sort of CRM, or at a minimum, a spreadsheet, because it's searchable. How often do you not put a card in because you're like, oh, I just met them. Am I ever going to remember what their first name is, or what the name of their business is, or how am I going to remember where it is? It'll be on the desk somewhere. So you flip through 200 cards looking for the person that can board your dog for the weekend. What do you do, right? Rather, you can put them into a CRM and be able to search all that information, because you can just type in dog people. It'll pull up all the various dog people you need to have access to. I love it as well, because if you use a CRM to its full effect, and I never actually do, but I use a lot of the features that many people don't, you can tag and categorize people. So you can pull up various lists and do different things with them, and teach it to prompt you when to make the calls and the follow-ups with the people you want to sell to. But in addition to that, it can track your employees, your vendors, your service people in emergency situations, your family. You can put all the different people into a CRM and not have all the pieces of paper in the way and all the different versions of your address book, and not worry about, is this phone system syncing with my computer and with the other thing, because it's in the cloud and it just does it all nice and automatically. But think about how you want to connect with the people. What kind of marketing do you want to do to different segments of the people in your CRM, in your list? Do you want to send a specific message just to clients? Last year, when I did a revamp and got my Money Breakthrough Business Coaching certificate, I reached out to all my organizing clients and told them I was evolving, and I had added this new thing in. If they wanted to go deeper on some of the business stuff we had worked on in terms of just organizing, and they wanted to learn how it connects to their money mindset and their success, we could do that as well. So it gave me an opportunity to look up, okay, who are all my clients? Who are those people? Who have I worked with in the last 20 years that might want to know this? And then I got to tell the people that are my advocates, you know, the people I know that help me out from time to time, or I just hang out with and see and support, and they support me. I got to reach out with a slightly different message for them about it all. So knowing where your people are and who they are in relation to your business is a really great way of starting to gather all those little pieces of scattered debris all over your office. And getting a handle on getting those organized and useful for marketing so that you can make more money. And then there's deliverables. Deliverables. Oh, hang on. I want to say one more thing about people. If you have employees and or you ever want to scale your business, it's helpful to also think of employees as people, and the people as roles. So when you think about this, this is a great place to kind of store your roles and responsibilities for the different tasks involved in your business as well. If you go to fill a role, rather than I got to replace Susan, you got to replace your admin assistant, or you got to replace a specific task set, not that person, because you're never replacing a person. You're replacing the person that helped you do the things that you did. You only need those tasks, the task achievement replaced. All right. Deliverables. This is what you sell. This is what you offer to make the money, right? This is what the client or the customer receives on the other end. It might be a bag of chips. It might be a full fancy dining meal. It might be services. It might be consulting. It might be a return on investment, whatever it is that you deliver. And what does that look like when your client receives it? Is it in a package? Is it a generic package? Is it a branded package? Is it an opportunity for more marketing? Oh, I kind of wish I saved it now, but I recycled it today. A couple weeks ago, I signed up with a new woman that's helping me redo some templates in my email program. And she sent me a thank you gift that was this origami box with a piece of chocolate in it. And when you opened it, it had the thank you note written inside the box that was just beautiful and spectacular. And I was like, oh my God, that is so lovely. And it was all branded with her stuff. And I'm like, that is great marketing and deliverables. It's a service. It's an intangible. I don't really get a whole lot from her, but she sent me just something that I could hold and open and appreciate that made the connection a little bit deeper. So that's one way of looking at it. The other way is what kind of space do you need for those deliverables? How many versions of things do you offer if you're a service? What is included, tangibles and intangibles? How do you talk about those things? So you go to your marketing area and you pull some of your language and talk about it. But what exactly does that look like? As a professional organizer, a lot of my colleagues go to someone's house and they do it for them. They go into someone's closet and they do the whole thing, and then they leave and leave the client to find where their underwear is now. But I work with my clients to help them learn to make decisions and put the underwear in the best place for them. It's just a little bit different, but that's where thinking through how you deliver what you offer comes into play. And what things you need to do that plays into the next piece. But I'm interested in Q&A. I'd love to hear different people's ideas of what deliverables are for you and or in your family. Let's just take it to a different arena for a second. What if you need to figure out what are my deliverables as a mom in my family? Well, maybe you make dinner. Maybe you are the one that drops them off at school. That is a deliverable. You're delivering a service to the person that needs it in that instance. So it covers a lot of ground, this framework. Inventory. So again, what is it you're delivering? What goes into that? Is it a good, a service? Do you need a folder to put the letter of agreement in when you meet the client? Do you need a sticker to put on that folder? Do you need ink for your printer? Do you need Post-it pads for planning days? Do you need extra calendars for planning days? What do you need that helps you deliver your service? If you are a restaurant, how much food do you need? How many napkins, spoons, forks, right? If you sell retail, what kind of inventory is in the back? How often do you need to order it? How much do you keep on hand? When do you mark it down? Where do you keep the overstock? What do you do when you're out? Like having a plan of action for all those different instances is what inventory is all about. And often, yeah.
Miriam, so
Yeah.
you started off talking about inventory as something different than what I think of as inventory. Like I'm a writer, I don't have a quote inventory, but you talked about the things that I use to write, right?
Yeah.
Pens and pads and folders
So
and
inventory
sort of
is the
office supplies, right?
Yeah, that's part of inventory. So I started my life as my business life as an inventory control person at a large retail company, and I was in charge of the office supplies. So when you become in charge of your own arena, you still have to think about office supplies. And it doesn't look exactly like the stuff you're going to sell, but it is still inventory. It is stuff you have to spend money on and keep on hand. And so technically it's an asset of your business. And so, most of us that work for ourselves don't have enough to make it worth deducting more than the actual, we don't have to depreciate our inventory of office supplies, but we have to note that we purchased them and we get to deduct it. So it's tied to your money, it's tied to your deliverables, and it's tied to the space in your office. So it's just a way of thinking about it slightly differently. And it allows for another checklist. What are the supplies you need in your office to do the writing, to do the proposal, to do the planning and plotting for a client? If you're a consultant, what is it? What are those tools you need? Do you need an easel? Do you need something for an expo? What are the things that you're not necessarily selling, but you need to do your business?
So that could be a software program. It could be,
Yes,
your computer and monitor. It could be.
exactly. It could be the car.
Mhm.
If you need to go to if you have a mobile business of some sort, or you're let's say in construction and you need to travel and haul things about. But it's an interesting way of looking at it too, because all of these systems, the money, the marketing, the people, the deliverables, and the inventory, they all affect each other. And so as you start thinking about them, you start seeing where they are connected, and it gives you clues and insight into how to store the information or the actual things about them. And that's what keeps you organized. And that's what can keep you focused on productivity. So the other thing to keep things from falling through the cracks that I recommend for my clients is that you kind of theme each of these categories to one day a week. And I'm not saying you need to spend a whole day on inventory if all you have is office supplies, but to every Friday, just kind of go, oh, Friday is inventory day. It doesn't have to be Friday. It could be whatever day you want, but say, oh, I should just double check if I need to add anything to the list, or, and it may take 30 seconds, but it's a way of remembering in case something comes up. Like, I don't know, COVID was an exception, but COVID brain, I had to do a presentation. It was the first time I was doing one in like a year in person, and I wanted to have handouts, and I suddenly realized I didn't actually have any paper, because at home, for a year, I've been going through my pile of recycled paper printed on the other side. And it was like, it's fine for me in the office, but using handouts at an event, it was like, ooh, I better go buy a ream of paper, So it helps things like that sneaking up on you, which helps you anticipate better what's coming up for that. It helps you remember that, oh, there was a weird tax deadline this year because of COVID. We had stuff pushed back and those kinds of things. So if you are consistently looking at the different areas of your business regularly, you're more likely to catch those things that are just occasional or infrequent. And it just helps you keep on top of it and not feel like anything is getting past you, which of course always leads to more confidence, which leads to more sales, really. Bottom line, we're back to money. All right, I just realized I have no concept of time now that interruption interrupted me.
We've got about 25 minutes left.
Okay.
Are you ready for questions?
I want to do one more thing. This is my optional slide to talk about, and we do have just a few minutes to do that. So let me go ahead. I want to make sure I hadn't run over. So now that you know what this framework is, what are the steps to making it work for you? And it's to take each of the systems and think through, what is the process I'm going to use for that system? So if you start with people, okay, what am I going to do with the people? I've got these clients. Where are the clients going to go? Where are the vendors going to go? Where are the consultants going to go? Where's my assistant going to go? And what am I going to do with all those cards, right? Think through the process of how you're going to do it and create a checklist so that you can know what those steps are, and then review the checklist next time you have to actually use it and make sure those are the steps you actually need to do, and add and adjust. And then that's where the efficiencies come in. You start looking at what needs to be done and you try it out, and then you try to eliminate anything that's redundant or doesn't actually need to be done. That's just kind of busy work. And you just whittle it down to the essentials so that it's repeatable, systematized, and you can delegate as soon as you're able to scale if you want to. But it's just a way of looking at each of the pieces of the puzzle. And I'm happy to share a PDF with everybody that has a list of all the systems and their interconnectedness so that you can it should help you start figuring out in order to think through the different processes. But basically that's why I call it a flexible framework. It's going to be slightly different for everyone. It allows you to customize based on your preferences. You might be in sales and Salesforce may be the CRM for you. It's not for me. It's a little too intense for me. So I use a different one. I use Trello because it's just me and two assistants that help me with social media stuff. And so it's a way to have everything where they can have access to it, and it acts as an index and it points me right back to Dropbox, which is where I have everything filed. But you may have a much larger team and need Asana and Slack, for instance. It just depends on what your situation is. So it allows for customization of all of those things. And if you don't want a checklist, create something else. Make it a pretty graphic that hangs on the wall, or a scroll, or a whiteboard, whatever it is you want to do that puts your policies and procedures into some sort of shareable, actionable, repeatable, and updatable format. And speaking of that, I've worked with a lot of places lately that have policy and procedure manuals that are completely out of date. They're all on the same document. So when you go to change something, it makes it really difficult to make sure that you caught it in all the different areas. So I highly recommend creating some sort of folder in your file system, whether it's online or in the actual file cabinet, that has a separate document for each page or each process. So it's not like all the processes of my business. So you're like scrolling through trying to find page 10, and then you have to change all the page numbers and stuff like that. If you do, here's how we do payroll. Here's how we order office supplies. Here's how we do this. And each one is a separate document. If something goes by the wayside, you no longer use that technology anymore, you just delete it. You don't have to go through the thing of reformatting an entire 200-page document. You're just doing that one process, but they're all grouped together in a folder and labeled. So hopefully that helps as well. And now we can do questions and answers.
Okay. Priscilla had put a question in the chat, and I don't know if you can see it because you came back in again.
Right.
But it says that she would love to have you do a brief case study of a client.
Oh.
And
Okay.
Priscilla, you can clarify. Do you want Miriam to take like one of these systems and work through, or one of these areas and work through, or like all five?
I think I wanted to understand how I'm guessing at this, that all five are implemented with a client. And if that is so, I'd like to just understand from the start to the finish, not in detail, but generally how you help that client, who the client is, not by name, who the client is in A to Z.
Okay. I don't always do all of them with the clients. I share the whole structure with all my clients. Often, these days it depends if I'm doing both coaching and organizing with them, or if I'm just doing organizing. If I'm doing organizing, I gather all the stuff for all the different systems into one place as we go. And I start with one, and it's usually the messiest one, or the one that's causing the most issues for them in that moment. So I always have the full framework in mind. Let's say we're doing a desk. I'm going to find some office supplies. I might find a sample of what they sell. I'm going to find some business cards. I might find a couple checks or a couple bills to pay. I now know that there's some deliverables, there's some inventory, there's some people, and there's some money, right? I may or may not run across a business card. There's some marketing. So now I have some at least designated areas for other stuff I find in the actual space to go. And the whole time we're working and looking at those things to see if they're still relevant, we're talking about the system and I'm listening to how they think so that when it gets time to actually say, okay, here's all the stuff that needs to go into a CRM. You've told me you need to do this, 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 and this with that. This is probably a good choice for you. And I can help them pick whatever it is. I typically don't do the actual typing in of the stuff for that. I have them get an assistant of some sort to do the data dump or that kind of thing. Especially with businesses, there's almost always another employee that can help them do something. For solopreneurs, I get them all the way to the point where they've got to do the actual data entry or moving stuff around. I do a lot of moving of physical stuff. So it's mostly once we get into the computer thing. I'm happy to do it, but most people don't really want to pay me to do that part of it because it is a little bit time consuming, but it pays off in the time savings at the other end. Does that answer your question? I can go into specifics.
That answers it.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it just depends. And some clients only need one area worked on because the other departments or whatever are working great. Or that, they might be in marketing and really great at that. And we don't ever have to look at that, but I help them think, oh, that's where I put all that stuff. It is just one category, or it's the 5 areas of marketing within marketing as the subcategories. But pretty much it's based on the client's needs and what their desired outcome is. So it's always important for you guys to know why you're doing something. Because busy work. Any other questions? Am I that good? Really? All right. In that case, I want to ask you how you deliver your stuff. What do you deliver? I don't know you all. You all know each other well, but I don't know you all very well.
I deliver a sold business.
A soul business? S-O-U-L or S-O-L?
SOLD.
SOLD.
Oh, sold.
Priscilla is a business broker.
I get it now. So, okay. That sounds nice. Do you wrap it in a bow? Yeah, a sold business, right? I like it. Or the check that pays for the business. Yeah. Okay. Have you ever thought through the specific thoughts in this way before?
Just to be clear, I do not write the check. I merely take it from this hand and put it in that hand. And usually,
but can you deliver it in a fancy
right
origami envelope? I don't know. That says, thank you from Priscilla.
I really, when the origami thing got, pleasantly, I was starting to think how I could make something for my clients in that nature. I just love that concept.
Yeah, it got kind of silly when I saw that. I have a really good friend that used to design packaging. And so every time I see a fabulous designed origami box that's a printed product for someone, especially when it's a one-off like this one, I'm sure she can't buy that many of them at a time. It was like very impressive. So,
or maybe she prints them herself and just folds them herself. Maybe she's an origami.
No, it was some sort of a fulfillment place. So,
okay.
Yeah, they probably have just a bunch of blanks, but even to just print 100 at a time or whatever, it's a consulting business. They can't go through that many. It's not like when I worked at Crate and Barrel and we had thousands of boxes every single week delivered to us. Mm-hmm. So interesting. Okay. Anyone else want to share with how they deliver,
Sure.
what they deliver?
Well, what I deliver is peace of mind.
Really?
Yes.
So you have a brain and you slice it up into sections and you, I'm sorry, people use these phrases all the time and it's like, that doesn't actually tell me what you do in any way, shape or form.
Mhm.
Piece of
It tells me
brain.
a benefit of what I might
See,
get.
I could have used that for Halloween marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. See, new idea for next year.
Yeah. No, I deliver books that are clean, specifically your accounting.
Okay, for a minute, I thought you meant not sexually oriented and descriptive books to read.
Clean books.
Clean books, no swearing. No, if you knew how I work, you would not think clean.
So you get in there and
Everybody
really
on here
muck it up
knows.
to clean it up.
No, I swear at the computer to clean it up.
I see.
And so I don't
Right.
have the origami thing, but everybody here also knows this part too, is I send these little thank you notes and probably not
Yeah. Oh, with a seal. I
the
love
wax
it.
seal. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's nice. And does that play into the rest of your marketing? What is your business name?
My business name is my name, so it does not.
Is your initial the stamp on your seal?
Yeah, it's a 3
So it
initial
does.
monogram.
Right now, is that monogram part of your logo?
No,
Could be.
could be.
Just saying. It could be, the watermark on your letterhead or something, there's
Well,
different.
I
but-
tried doing a custom
Mhm.
wax seal stamp, but it didn't work out well.
Yeah, they're a little bit more tricky.
They're tricky. Yeah.
Did any of the other things get you thinking a little bit differently?
Yes, because I am working on how I deliver my product, and specifically in the way that I onboard a client.
Yeah,
Because
onboarding.
yeah, onboarding is difficult because there's just a lot of different moving parts, and every business that I take on is unique. And so the thing that I'm dealing with right now is that I kind of went off of a template that QuickBooks offered. And it's just this massive set of questions that apply to everyone. Like if you want the questions to answer everything that anybody might have, it's just this massive thing to go through. And I thought, I don't want to do that to my clients. So
No, but that's a really interesting point. And it goes to that policies and procedure manual thing I said about having them on separate pages. So if you have the questions everybody has to answer, and then you have a universe of other questions that you pull from depending on someone's situation, it can be helpful because at least then you're not like, did I forget a question? Is that all the questions? And then every time a new client comes up that you've not dealt with before that has a new situation, you can add that kind of question into your universe of questions that you ask.
yeah, that's a good
That
idea.
makes sense?
Mhm.
Because I onboarded a client this afternoon and it's like, oh my God, what happened? I used to have some stuff automated, and one of the automations during some upgrade stopped working. And so now I'm back to doing it by hand because it doesn't want to talk to the other program as easily. It's like, oh my God, make it stop. I want my automation back. Why won't this calendar talk to this calendar without duplicating it? Yeah, so all those little pieces fall into it, but just to think it through. So that's great. I'm glad you got some good practical insight for that.
Yes, thank you.
What else? Seriously, I'll answer any question about anything, anytime. No? All right, I'm going to show you guys how to contact me, and then I'm going to look at everybody again and see if now you have any more questions. All right. Hey, I just realized I don't have my TV show on here. I better update my slides. See, now I know where to record that. I have a Trello card that says marketing, presentations, slides, update.
Yep, absolutely.
Miriam, did you mention earlier a PDF or something?
Yeah, I can shoot that to Kelly, and Kelly, can you distribute it to the people?
Can you just upload it? Can you upload it here into the chat?
Oh,
You
perhaps.
should be able to.
Hang on, I'm gonna have to stop my screen share to do it, I believe,
Yeah, probably.
so it doesn't kick me out again. Okay. Yes, I can do that while we talk. All right, talk amongst yourself or ask me another question. It's gonna take me just a second to get it. Guess where it is in my file system?
Dropbox,
And then,
marketing.
no,
In
No.
your policy and procedure manual?
no. See, this is the other place where it gets to be, oh, why is it doing this? Okay. How do I upload into chat?
If you go into chat, there should be a little, it looks like a piece of paper.
With its corner bent.
There it is. Sorry. See, it happens. No, this is a presentation I deliver to a lot of different people. So it is under deliverables.
Oh,
It
okay.
is under presentations. It is under 5 essential business systems.
There you go.
Oh, man. Hang on. I forget that it won't just let me upload from my computer. I have to do it from the cloud. So I have to sign in.
And what's going to be in this PDF, Miriam?
It's the 5 essential business systems and how they're connected to each other.
Okay.
They're essential for her deliverables.
Yeah. Oh, come on. Sometimes this is another one of those.
Craig,
You go to be more and more efficient, and it starts getting less and less efficient at a certain
Yeah.
point.
Craig, what is your deliverable?
Sometimes it's survival.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah, that is big. That's right at the top.
Or a prepper.
So, no, I help businesses when they're in trouble, especially. I also love to help businesses when they're coming out of trouble and they're getting to grow again. And one of my clients, and I'm not going to take credit for how smart he is, I'm just going to say that I helped him. And he has hit 103% of his 2019 third quarter number.
Fantastic.
And, right. And he has managed to recover because he spent time thinking about what it would take to recover. And I helped him by getting some extra cash in the door via government programs. So it's that's what I do. That's my deliverable, is to help people grow and to help people survive situations they might not have thought they could have gone through. One of my clients has a quote on my webpage that says he would not be in business today were it not for me. So
103%, say in 2020 compared to 2019 in the third quarter, where was he? Like 30% or 50%, something?
Oh, wait, what quarter again? He dropped all the way to 50%.
Oh.
He was actually like 43%
Yeah.
of 2019. In the last half of 20,
Mm-hmm.
it was quite low.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
I try not to think about 2020 numbers very much. It was a fantastic year on a lot of levels, but not for that particular business system.
Oh, but I don't think of it in numbers like that. I think of it in terms of where were you and what did you have to do in order to recover? And he has done a tremendous number of things to help him recover.
Yeah.
Because he has done things that made it so he got through it.
This is really not wanting to,
Miriam, just send it to me then. That's fine.
it keeps taking me to a new Dropbox page and never getting me into my actual Dropbox. It just continually takes me to a brand new page. So I'm going to send it to you. Actually, let's try this. One last thing. There's always more than one way.
Steve, you raised your finger.
Yes,
Oh, there it is.
got a question for Miriam. Do you
Yes.
ever use,
Oh, there it is.
Miriam, do you ever use AnyDesk or a similar system to log into someone's computer and work with them on organizing their computer?
I do not. I can do it sometimes sitting side by side. It depends. I'm a Mac person. I am the kind of person that touches a PC and it blows up. I'm not really sure why, but I once may have crashed the entire network at Young and Rubicam Advertising Agency. Maybe. But
That's not your thing. Okay.
but what I can do is I help you think through the structure and map it out, and then you can implement it.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, Miriam, I am also sending the PDF. I've downloaded your PDF. I'm sending it to our admin who's in charge of making sure that this video gets online. So he can include
Perfect.
that as well.
I'm so glad that Miriam said that she could get things done alternate ways instead of saying there's more than one way to skin a cat, considering Priscilla's friend.
There's Priscilla's kitty right there. Oh, and Miriam has two
I have
cats, right? Yeah.
one right now, but yes.
Okay, yeah, Miriam has cats, so she doesn't
do-
often use cat metaphors.
Occasionally, but you know, it does always give me pause. Right. Yeah, these days, I don't know. Every time I make a joke of something like that, I gross someone out. I'm kind of a gross person when it comes right down to it. And murder and mayhem was frequently topics of discussion at our dinner table. And so I often go to the dark side when using metaphors and analogies and things. And it's not always great in a business presentation, but we're all friends here, right?
But that's
I
why I
just
love
figured out-
Miriam, so.
I just figured out a new way for organizations to make a little bit of extra cash. That if somebody's animal shows up at the Zoom call, there's a fee to pay. for
Got
that
a fee to
animal.
pay.
Or there's animal bingo.
Right.
There's Zoom
Cat,
bingo.
dog, fish,
Cat dog.
barking in the background.
My cat once
Big
threw
foot.
up under my desk while I was in the middle of a presentation,
Big
and it was
Bigfoot.
audible. It's
And
not-
sometimes my dog wanders into my office, but the way my camera is set up, you don't often see her, right? So
Turtle that we're babysitting for.
exactly.
Turtle.
All right. Anything else before we give great thanks to Miriam for presenting today and sign off?
And her origami
Thank
gift.
you.
Yes, I expect.
Thank you so
Not gonna
much.
happen.
Well, thank you all for coming. I hope it at least prompts new ways of thinking about your things and how you work on your business tasks in any case.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Definitely. All right. Thank you,
Goodbye,
everyone.
everyone.
See you all in another meeting. Miriam, thank you so much for presenting today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
You, Kelly.
Bye.
Bye.